Good evening. Hope you guys are having an awesome weekend. Um, was not ready for the snow today, but nevertheless, here we are today. Today, the purpose of this video is just to give you a brief overview of the endocrine system and let you know what the plan is for the next couple of weeks as we delve into this system. Okay, one of the first things I want to let you know is for the endocrine system, rather than using your regular med surge book, I am going to be referencing the Saunders book that came in the bundle. So if you don't have that, it'll be a good idea to share with someone, or maybe see if you can get it from the library. I'll show you what those books look like now. So if you have the newer edition, you will notice that the Saunders book is green. And in this book, we reference chapters 43 and also 44 for endocrine system. However, if you don't have the updated version, you could always use the red Saunders book. And this one covers chapters 45 and 46. Both of them are the same. I had an opportunity to look at the content. It is the exact same content. So whether you use the green book or the red book, doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's just want to give you a couple of principles for the endocrine system. I would hope, and it has been my experience, that the endocrine system seems to be a little bit more, I wouldn't say easier, but less intimidating than the neuro system. And so this is an opportunity, if you do your readings and do well on testings, to kind of boost your grade up a little bit. Okay. So let's get into it. Just a couple of concepts. So when you talk about the endocrine system, we're talking about one of two problems you're having. You're having either an over secretion of hormones or under secretion of hormones. And when we get in class, we'll talk about the different problems caused by this over and under secretion. But for the purpose of today in this video, I just want to look at a couple of labs, okay? Lab values, and also things that we look at when we have problems in the endocrine system. First thing I want to start with is the thyroid hormone. And so with the thyroid hormones, there are one or two labs that you draw. You have your TSH level, and then you also have your T3, T4 levels. And so these levels will give us an indication of whether our patient is having symptoms of hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism, okay? And those two disorders are exact opposite of each other. As you know, with hyperthyroidism, you're going to see problems probably with weight loss. Also, you're going to see oily skin. You're going to also see problems with palpitations. You're going to see problems with emotional extremes. With hypothyroidism, total opposite. You have a problem with weight gain. Patient probably will complain of being lethargic, also complaints of being fatigued, and also complaints of constipation. So those are hyper and hypothyroidism. We'll talk a little bit more in class, so this is just a brief overview. Another disorder that we have within the endocrine system, we have two of them, diabetes insipidus and also SIADH, which is syndrome of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone. And those two disorders are, again, exact opposites of each other. So with SIADH, that results from an over secretion of antidiuretic hormone, okay, which results in water retention. So if you have water retention, what do you think you have? And so if we were in class, you probably would tell me weight gain, swelling, things like that. And so given that, you'll know some of the interventions that you would need to put in place there. Maybe fluid restriction, daily weights, things like that. Those are some things we'll talk about. With diabetes insipidus, it's the exact opposite. And diabetes insipidus is where we have a sufficient amount of antidiuretic hormones, which results in an oversecretion of fluid. So this patient will have extreme diureses, and it'll be really dilute urine, which results in a decreased specific gravity of the urine. Also, this patient probably will have, because they're losing so much fluid, what? dehydration. So that kind of drives some of our treatment. One of the things we have with diabetes insipidus, we'll have what's called a fluid deprivation test. And that's one of the tests that we do. And with this patient, one of the treatment goals is, number one, we want to prevent dehydration. And number two, giving medications to reverse this, which we'll talk about in class. Okay, so just a really good overview. And then we have secretion of hormones from the adrenal cortex, which results in Addison's disease. And so with Addison's disease, what happens is these patients have what we call really bronzed skin. They also are, they're very skinny. With women, they have overgrowth of hair in the face. And then as far as vital signs is concerned, these people will have really low blood pressures. And so treatment for that, number one, is you want to make sure they refrain from stress, which aggravates these symptoms. And also you want to make sure that they are having fluid replacements to get that blood pressure up. So that's just a couple of things that we'll talk about. And so what'll be really important for this unit is that, number one, you're doing your readings. And number two, not only doing your readings, but you want to take those diagnoses and put them side by side, the opposites of each, and just compare each one, okay? So when we get to class next week, you won't have a quiz, unfortunately, because we've already done neuro and we haven't done any lectures. So for next week, we'll do class activities, case studies as well, and that'll give you an opportunity to gain some points back. I know you guys like points, how much you like them. So we'll have an opportunity to do that as well. So this is just, like I said, a brief video. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I've discussed, anything that I could make a little bit more clear, and we'll also talk about these things in class as well. Also, just send me an email about feedback. Is this what you're looking for? Are you looking for more information, or is this a good start for you? So if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, but also, again, send me feedback on what your thoughts are, okay? Thank you. Good night.